Mike Chioda, you do not need to scratch your ear holes. I said that correctly. Mike Chioda appeared on last night's AEW Dynamite, and I could not be happier. Mike Chioda, 31 years in WWE. He's rocked up in AEW. He still counts to 10. So enthusiastically. I can't get enough of Mike Chioda counting to 10. That is potentially the biggest WTF moment from last night's Dynamite. Why I've said it right at the start of the video, I've got no idea. You might as well click off now. It's all downhill from here. But I'm Ross Twiddell from Cultaholic.com. You may or may not be a sexual wank pheasant. And let's take a look at all of the AEWTF moments from last night's AEW Dynamite. Hit the intro, you knob. WTF! And we're kicking things off with the sight of fans. Normal, bog standard human being fans inside the arena. And I don't know about you, but when I saw this, my initial impression was, bloody hell, AEW, this is a sloppy shop. But also a bit of a risk that didn't need to be taken, did it? But then again, I wasn't there in Florida last night. I don't know what testing was done. I don't know what protocols were in place. So maybe I should just shut my fat mouth. But what I do know is that Jim Ross saying upon the sight of those fans there that everybody here is playing by the rules, by God, is a massive load of bollocks. Knobhead in the blue shirt, it goes over your mouth and your nose. The same goes for you, knobhead in the pink. I just can't understand how people find it so hard to understand. And then we have Big Dick Tony Schiavone himself claiming that when the Dark Order debuted in AEW, there was two of them, but since then they've grown and grown and grown like some shagging rabbits or something like that. Now I was there in the crowd live at Double or Nothing last year when the Dark Order debuted in AEW, and I simply cannot forget the feeling that took over my body when Evil Uno and Stu Grayson and the rest of the lads headed into that ring, because for a second there I thought I'd left a professional wrestling event and rocked up to some sort of kink soiree with Evil Uno himself being all daddy and dominant and what's the opposite of a cook? I've got no idea, while he sat on a throne made of gimps. So in summary, Tony Schiavone, there wasn't just two of them, there was lots. Now I've got to make this spot here a huge WTF moment. As some of you might know, I watch these professional wrestling shows at 1.5 times the speed because I'm magic. And even though I do that, Matt and Nick Jackson were still stood there, very, very still, for half an hour. So just imagine how long they would have been stood there if I was watching last night's Dynamite at normal speed. It beggars belief, so it does. It's nowhere near as convoluted as the bollocks the Bucks did with Jurassic Express halfway through July, but still, I thought it was very much worthy of being pointed out right now, so that's why I did it. Back in the day, Samoa Joe is like, whoa there, little MJF. You get out of my shot now. Here in 2020, bigger MJF is like, whoa, new little security guard man, you get out of my shot. Just like I had to get out of Joe's shot all the way back in the day. And I don't know about you at home, but I simply cannot wait for a few short years' time when that security man there is a prominent figure in AEW. He's doing a long entrance through the backstage area and he's got his own security guard and he's like, whoa, get out of my shot, my own little security guard man, who might not even be born as we're stood here today. It's the new circle of life and it's a wonderful thing to see. And now we have a malfunction at the junction, a miscommunication at the station. All the rhymes are here. Somebody clearly did not tell MJF that Jon Moxley had already been promoted to be appearing on last night's Dynamite when that little prick stood in the ring and said, oh, your hero dictator John, he's not here. And by the way, isn't it weird how MJF is now doing the politician stick when he's got the match he was politicking for? But us knowing what we knew, thanks to the commentary team hyping up that appearance from Jon Moxley, and MJF not knowing what we knew, made MJF look like a monumental knobhead, but also it made him look like a real-life politician. He didn't fact-check, he lied, and he looked like a twat while doing so. He fits the politician role absolutely perfectly. So I've talked myself out of a WTF moment, really. Oh well. And I don't know about you at home once again, but I need to know what Tony Khan saw on his monitor right there and then. Even though he should be used to it by now, since he has been the god of AEW for over a year now. I'd like to think he was thinking, I'm on the telly, man, look at us go. Now I feel the need to put on this tin hat thing because I'm going to say something that's quite controversial, and I don't think I can handle the barrage without the use of this helmet. The new TNT title is still crap. Oh, now you might like the new title. Good for you. Each to their own. We all have different tastes, don't we? But for me, as I stand here in front of you, a useless hack with a chicken on his head. On the internet, I reckon the gold on the silver, the gaps around the TNT logo, the red with the gold with there's two, it looks naff. And then we have what was a fantastic example of what Jim Ross used to call way back in the day, poetry in motion. No, not Matt and Jeff's move in the corner with the little thing and the woohoo and all that malarkey. Just something that happened on screen while something was saying something, and the juxtaposition just made it fantastic. Taz was in the midst of saying the entire Nightmare family being out there with Cody Rhodes for his match was a sign of insecurity on Cody's part. But just before Taz could finish that sentence, a large portion of the Nightmare family were heading backstage, thus proving Taz to be absolutely incorrect. Perfect timing, so it was, in the opinion of this sad prick, but still fantastic. And then we have a direct quote from Jim Ross when he says he, Scorpio Sky, could be the first African-American AEW World Champion. And when I heard that, I was thinking, Jim, it's not just the names you get wrong these days, it's also the title belts as well. Of course, we all know what Jim meant here. He's just talking about the TNT title being a big title, a big singles title in AEW. But I've got to make this a WTF moment, because back in his WWE days, I very much doubt Jim Ross would call the Intercontinental title, the United States title, a world title, because they're not the world title. And go back and watch the finish to that Scorpio Sky versus Cody Rhodes match, and you will see Mike Chioda himself get a little bit too excited and count a bit more towards 10 than he probably should have while counting to 3. He counted to 4. Go back and watch it, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4. Some might say that Cody Rhodes' foot got in the way on the first one, but I'm saying nah. I don't know why. Unless, of course, this is a brand new gimmick for the egotistical, slightly heely shades of grey Cody Rhodes. He's too good to just have 3 counts done when he's winning matches. He wants 4, which of course means he's not as good as Big E and Big E's 5 count from way back in the day. But of course, Cody Rhodes just isn't as good as Big E. So it all makes sense. Now, I can't have been the only professional wrestling fan watching last night's Dynamite, seeing Santana and Ortiz take best friend's gear, empty best friend's gear into a shower, pour bleach onto best friend's gear, which is in the shower, and then turn them on, the showers that is, not best friends. And think to myself, bloody hell, are Santana and Ortiz a part of Retribution in WWE? You might be saying, Ross, you're talking bollocks, but I'm saying childish, pathetic bollocks on WWE when it comes to Retribution, and then the same thing here from Santana and Ortiz. Tell me it's different, because it's not. What was the reason behind this? Tony Schiavone shouted at the top of his big-dicked lungs just after FTR murdered a man who claimed the Young Bucks were the best tag team of their generation. It was really obvious, wasn't it? So obvious, I had to make it an AEW TF moment. However, Tony, man, I'm still waiting. Bring it on, said Hikaru Shida, and it's what she's waiting for, which brings us the WTF moment here. All Shida is waiting for is for her challengers, or potential challengers, to stop being pissing fans at ringside, hop the barricade, and be wrestlers again. Isn't that a novel idea, eh? What a mess the AEW women's division is right here today, don't you? Is it just me who thinks this? It might be you as well. Who knows? And yes, you could say the travel ban with all the international stars, that hasn't played in AEW's favour, but still, come on, man. 2.5 minutes the lasses got on last night's Dynamite, and I don't care who can't fly into the country. Surely, in the midst of a 2-hour broadcast, you can find more than 2.5 minutes to promote, big up, all that malarkey, the AEW women's division. However, man, put more stock in it, man. Now, I talked about gimps earlier on in this very video, but one gimp I did not expect to be a gimp was Jake the Gimp Roberts, when he was outed as a gimp when Lance Archer stripped him off to reveal that on his back. That's Jake the... Jake the Snake Roberts, that's Jake. I can't. And we've been through almost an entire 2-hour broadcast. This was shot during Chris Jericho's entrance for that main event, and that knobhead still can't wear his mask properly. Howie, man. I'm being too Geordie today, aren't I? Howie, man, is Geordie, the speak here of people in Newcastle upon Tyne, for come on, man, sort yourself out. Yes. And then we've got to make the finish to that Orange Cassidy versus Chris Jericho match a huge WTF moment, because it was a bit of a mess, wasn't it? First of all, it would appear that Orange Cassidy does not have a set of cock and balls. He took a low blow, he no-sold it after a second's worth of pain. And we all know if you've been hitting the tallywhackers or your meaty clacker, it takes a hell of a lot longer than 1 second to recover from such a devastating blow. And then we have Chris Jericho moving backwards in slow motion, whether Orange Cassidy wanted him to or not. At shades of SummerSlam 1992 and the British Bulldogs fan. That was weird, wasn't it, as well? Not what was supposed to happen. Maybe I'm just a hack who knows nothing about the mechanics of professional wrestling. But still, it looked like a WTF moment, so I've made it a WTF moment. And that's it for your WTF moments from this week's AEW Dynamite. Remember, next week's Dynamite takes place on Saturday, not Wednesday, Saturday. So I'll be here on Sunday with the AEW TF moments for the Dynamite that happened the night before. Hopefully, this video has seen my hair turn back from green to a lovely hazel brownish colour. Definitely not ginger, it's the lights. We've got massive studio lights here. Look, this might make a mess of things right here, but look at this. I'm peeling back the curtain, everybody. Look at those lights. What are they? Why are they in the studio? It's incredible. Look at how bright they are. No wonder my hair's green/ginger. It's terrible. Anyway, I've been Ross. Bye.